Yo, it's Heavy Haul HQ, rolling with the crew, moving those big loads. Yeah, you know how we do. We got the rigs, the power of the mic. From dawn to dusk, we own the night. Oversized loads ain't nothing but a thing. Got the trailer stretched out, feel the metal sing.
Welcome back to Heavy Haul HQ. I wanted to show you all around today. We had a couple of cool projects going on, and we're just trying to make stuff happen here. Everybody was complaining that I didn't make a YouTube long form content video in a little while, so I said, well, that's no big deal. We'll take them and show them around, because we honestly are doing a lot of cool things. But I've been making a lot of YouTube shorts lately, and some of them very good. This is Plateau Excavation. They're out of Austell, Georgia. They run a lot of this yellow coloring, and you can see they have a really cool Peterbilt truck. They do a lot of the heavy site works, construction type stuff. We're building them a customized nitrogen stinger, and that'll allow them to run, as you can see here, a big 3 drive axles on the truck. So a 4-axle truck, and then plus 3 on the trailer, and then plus 1 spread out between. We can do that as a spreader bar or all one-piece stinger, as you can kind of see back there. My guys are getting it dry fitted. We got some new Fontaines in. We got the Renegade 18. The Renegade 18 is gonna have an 18-inch deck height and a 40-ton capacity. Full hydraulic neck, and then right there below it, is the Fontaine Magnitude 55H. That's the heavier duty of the 55-ton rated trailers. It will accept a flip box, so you can have a neck extension here. It's got a 55-ton rated frame with a 22-inch loaded deck height. So the one on top has an 18-inch loaded deck height, and the bottom one has a 22-inch loaded deck height. They have tons of really cool features. Of course, both of them have the hydraulic neck. They got the Fontaine name that you know, love, and trust, because if Fontaine builds something, it's not going to break at 55 tons. It's going to be able to handle whatever they say it can handle easily, and I mean really easily. It's got 7 adjustable ride height settings on the front of the neck via that dual cam pawl, so you see the 2 fingers sticking up there. They'll rest down into these casting racks, this little ratcheting mechanism right there. And as those fingers fall down into the casting racks, it'll give you a mechanical lock to lock your deck up. We've been adding a lot of toolboxes. On them. We've been adding a lot of hammer plates. We've been adding a lot of lights on these. And then from the factory, you can see down in here, it's got keyhole tie downs on the entire side, and those will reach and fit all the way up to 1/2-inch chain. Sorry, the phone's going crazy today. It's going absolutely insane. All right, so both of these units do have 22.5-inch wheels, outside aluminum, and then you can see right here, one of the best features is they've moved all the controls. So that controls your dump valve, it controls your airlift on your third. So you can see that third axle is up off the ground right now. That's with the ride well system. They are talking about going back to Hendrickson, but right now they still have the ride well system, and it gets really high off the ground. Grease pack hubs, and then they got in that same bolster, they have the battery control switch for the strobe lights on the back too. We also have 2 more trailers here. We have a folding tail or an articulating tail Trail King, and we have a traveling axle or a sliding axle. I forget how they call it. No, theirs is called a sliding axle. And I'll show you around them real quick. Let's take a look. So they both have lockable toolboxes built into the nose of the trailer. This one has a little indicator light, which tells me automatically, without even going back and looking, that it has tire inflation system. What does this one got? A 20 XL winch, worn 20K winch, probably on both of those. Got your hydraulic lines, everything like that. I really like this part. This will override your suspension. Got your air winch on your, to shift the free spool on your winch. All your control handles, operation panel light, work light, and then rear strobe lights. And then you can see right here is that huge work light. That thing's really bright too. And you can see on the deck right there, Has a roller guide. Well, not a guide, but just a roller for the winch. And of course you can get fair leads. And you can see down in here, they got the keyhole tie downs. They're down the center or down the main beams right there and down the side rails all the way down as you follow the triangles. And then I do like this feature. This will drain out your air tanks. And yeah, it looks like both units. Here, take a quick peek down in here too. Or let's go under. That's your control box for your tire inflation system. That little yellow handle right there. If you ever have a failure, system failure, air leak, you can shut the supply off to both axles right there. And then inside of this lid right here is a regulator, so you can request it to have more air you can request it to have more air and fill up the tires with the appropriate amount of air. These are on 17.5 rubber, which usually leaves your deck height somewhere around 37 inches. It looks like you can see right here the little stamping. Hendrickson suspension, a very high quality suspension. What does the bottom one have? Also Hendrickson. So both of these are running a Hendrickson suspension. And then, in case you haven't ever seen the underworkings of these articulating tails, here's some of the cylinders. You have what looks to be a galvanized tail lock, which I do like that. And you can see where they've got that galvanized linkage that goes to it too. And it looks like it moves as an all-in-one system when some of these other cylinders move. Looks like a galvanized pin there. I like that. Yeah, nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Got some strobe lighting in the back. Everybody loves the centralized grease system, so you have some points of grease there and some points of grease there. Of course, we got to get these cleaned up because they just have gotten to our facility. They just have gotten to this facility here. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, over here by the Peterbilt on exit 201 on 75 South, just south of Atlanta. And these trailers came from Mitchell, North Dakota, Mitchell, South Dakota, at the Trail King plant. We have an older unit right here, just the neck, nothing but neck right here. We're actually doing a repair on. And honestly, it probably just about needs a new neck. Well, you can see where it's gotten so much rust down in there. We've actually cleaned it up quite a bit. The weld's cracking down in here, and then that plate was starting to crack down here. I like the design, don't get me wrong, the design is good, but that pin likes to break out over time sometimes. And it's always our favorite saying. We go, it's operator error, operator error. We do see that quite a bit on those types of trailers. Oh yeah, my guys used the wrong wood. Well, I say they used the wrong wood. They used a thicker wood than I would prefer. They used a thicker wood than I would prefer. Let's turn around and take a look. It looks like in Bay 4 they're doing an Apitong floor. Very nice. Looks like they're patching up some of this. What trailer is this? Oh, this is a Talbert trailer. So I think we're getting this one ready for a repair so that we can resell it. So if anybody's interested, give me a call, 888-LOWBOY1. That's 888-LOWBOY1. I think this one's to be available in as soon. They're putting a new E-chain on it, popping a couple pieces of flooring in it. Don't ask me why they used the most expensive, thickest flooring, but they did. And it looks like we're doing a brake job on this Etna Blackhawk. Not a huge fan of this type of trailer, but I don't mind doing brakes on them. Looks like we're doing a brake job on this Fontaine drop side rail. That's interesting. They got the little chrome hubcaps. And then on Bay 1, we're having to put a new hanger. It's basically a suspension hanger. The pivot bolts busted out, and so now we have to put a new suspension hanger on this trailer. That's the suspension hanger there. So we had to drop the axle, cut that off. It was actually quite a process because there was a lot of rust on this one. Drop the axle, and then we welded the new one on. And now, whenever we get the axle back up, we'll put the pivot bolts in there. The pivot bolts will go right through the trailing arm right there, and you'll be good as new. And then I have to show you this one more thing. We got it set up in the lobby, in the Hobby Lobby. It is an EasyCoil. Everybody asked us to order some EasyCoils, so let me explain what it is. This is center mount post, but they have if you don't need this whole center mount, this would be like if you didn't have a headache rack. If you had toolbox or a headache rack, you would just put a bracket up here. But this is for like if you just had a naked truck with just the cab, you could mount that to your frame rail. And what it does is you get your pigtails, and it could be a hydraulic, air, or electrical. You hang them in these sleeves. And then we have a 25-pounder here on a retractable reel. And then a 40-pounder here on a retractable reel. The 40-pounder is going to be for your hydraulic lines, and the 25-pounder, this one's going to be for your electrical and air. The 40-pounder is going to be for your hydraulic lines. So that way, if you're tired of grating your hydraulic lines across your deck or being broke down in the side of West Virginia with busted electrical lines, busted air lines, busted hydraulic lines are particularly expensive, then now we have EasyCoil in stock and available, ready to ship to you, because we like solving problems and adding value to all our customers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have safe travels, and don't forget to say your prayers to Peterbilt Jesus.
Yo, it's Hefty Haul HQ, rolling with the crew, moving those big loads. Yeah, you know how we do. We got the ribs, the power and the mic. From dawn to dusk, we own the night. Oversized loads ain't nothing but a thing. Got the trailer stretched out, feel the metal sing. Trucks on the highway, flexing the muscle. Heavy haul nation.